Welcome to Girls Gone Hallmark, a Hallmark review podcast. I'm Megan, and I'm a longtime Hallmark fan.
I'm Wendy. I'm a former Hallmark hater.
On today's episode, we are discussing The Way Home Season 4, Episode 8, Tainted Love, which originally aired on the Hallmark Channel on Sunday, June 7th, and is now streaming on Hallmark Plus. Fingers crossed it aired last night with no glitches over on Friendly.
Let's hope, huh?
It's funny. I've seen many people reference, I was affected by the Friendly blackout.
That's so weird. I've never seen that happen before.
I haven't either. I wonder if it was across all channels or just a Hallmark glitch.
You know, that's yeah, good question.
If you want to participate in our listener mailbag episode, sending in your thoughts about The Way Home, you can email us hello@girlsgonehallmark.com, or you can drop us a voicemail at 949-329-8090. You want to hop right into it?
Yeah, you ready for synopsis?
I am.
As Kat works to piece together what lies ahead, Elliot tries to learn more about Tessa as he does his best to reconnect with his mom.
Hey, Wendy, what's your first impression of this episode, Tainted Love?
The writers looked at Elliot this week and said, you know what? Let's make this worse for him.
So I have two first impressions and I couldn't commit, so I'm reading both. The first is Elliot gets his own "did I do that" moment this week.
Yes.
Or my other first impression is drink every time I write. But what does that mean in my notes?
Yeah, lots of non-answers. I love the "did he get his own, did I do that" moment.
Thank you.
You know, I just want to talk about Elliot for a second. I know it sounds like we clown on him a lot, especially me. I enjoy his character. And in this episode, I was like, damn, dude can't catch a break.
I know. He's just trying so hard. He's like, I thought I was going to fix it.
Well, I think that's the whole problem with the time traveling, is that these time travelers, they get so hyper fixated on fixing things and it makes it worse. So maybe we are not to go fiddle with things.
I mean, isn't that the message behind many, many time traveling stories that are told?
Yes.
Like, you go back to fix it and you end up messing something else up. Like, we've all seen Back to the Future where he comes back and Hill Valley is like a wasteland.
Right.
Let's kick off our discussion and let's talk about our boy Elliot.
Okay.
Last week, when Kat returned, we had some thoughts about Elliot letting her go. And sending the message like, Kat, wait. I think we get a repeat of that scene. They should show it again, more from Elliot's perspective. And it's so obvious that it was intentional.
I am still pissed that he said, Kat, wait. Because that leaves her spinning out, thinking like she left him behind. Mm-hmm. And it was all intentional. And that is not cool.
Mm-hmm. I think when they return back to the present, spoiler alert, Kat and Elliot return back to the present day in this episode, they're not holding hands. Did you notice?
Oh, I did not.
Damn, I remember someone jumped in this episode not holding hands. And I remember thinking, shouldn't they be holding hands if they're trying to go to the same place?
Oh, I don't know.
So we see the effects of Elliot sticking around in 1925 to connect with dear old mom.
Who's not really having it.
No.
I mean, they do get some, they have some nice moments, Tessa and Elliot, which we're going to get to. But I want to talk about the scene where Elliot's playing the piano for Fern and Cliff as they're dancing. And he goes on and he plays that Cyndi Lauper song Time After Time, which I hate. I think I'm a Cyndi Lauper hater, actually.
Oh. You hate that song?
I do. Yeah.
I love that song.
I just do. I don't know why. Anyway, I did think it was nice how like Tessa was watching from the back. And then we get like this full circle moment later. She's like, I used to sing that song to you when you were a baby, blah, 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 whatever. Or she hadn't heard that song in a long time. I just thought that was... They haven't done a ton this season, but I love when they like weave in like musical references.
Yes. My notes say that this scene, I can't help but feel like this is the show getting back to its roots in this scene.
Yeah.
Because there's scenes later in this episode, specifically the bootlegger raid, where I feel like this isn't the show we started watching 4 years ago. Like, we've come so far from that.
Yeah.
But in this scene, remember season 1, we would talk about the music and how that was such a core element of what this show is.
Yeah.
And so I just felt like that just brought us full circle back to that moment. The song itself is, I think, perfect for this moment, whether you like Cyndi Lauper or not. Obviously, time after time, maybe a little on the nose, but I thought it was sweet.
Yeah, me too. I have more thoughts on Elliot.
Yeah.
Okay. What I appreciated about this episode, yes, we have now found Tessa. And so now we're transitioning into Elliot trying to understand Tessa. What makes her tick? Why did she leave? Like, getting more answers. And I'm like so thankful that that is happening. When Tessa and Elliot are on the porch and we get maybe one of the most like revealing, not revealing scenes, but we get some answers, but not all full answers.
Right.
For example, we get Tessa's version of events. She and Griffin jumped. They landed in 1882. She got very sick. Griffin then, I guess, jumped to the future. So not the future, back to present day. So he could get her medicine, but then never returned.
Right.
She's stuck there. And the Landrys took her in. Is that correct?
Yes. Yes, because she said, I went the only place I could think, and she stumbles up outside the Landry farmhouse, but we never see it.
We don't know who those Landrys are at that point either, right?
No,
Or do we?
because Jacob was earlier 1800s, correct?
Uh-huh.
Yes, so she's not overlapping with Jacob. Descendants of Elijah Landry.
Right. Yeah.
And I'm not sure it fully matters.
It doesn't. No, it doesn't. Not to me. But I'm
Right.
like, okay, finally we're getting some, like, now we have an understanding. We still don't know why she and Griffin jumped, right?
No.
We don't know what the connection was there other than maybe Griffin was in love with her or what she was running from, or those are things we don't still understand. And then, of course, Elliot drops, well, how did you get that letter to me?
Yes.
You mailed the ring back. She has no idea what he's talking about.
This is my first, but what does that mean? Moment.
No, it's like, okay, now this is gonna be hanging out there.
Right. The other thing that's interesting to me here is Elliot asks if she was in love with Griffin. She doesn't answer that question, but she does say that Vic was always good to her. So apparently his emotionally abusive ways came later.
Yeah, too bad Elliot's like, well, he was terrible to me. Thanks
Right.
for that. Yeah, I mean, I just wish we had more. You know, I'm curious from you, do you think she's telling the truth here, or is she telling like a version that she wants Elliot to hear? Like maybe hoping that this will satisfy.
Well, I think she's telling the truth, but I don't think she's telling enough of it yet. We still don't have a reason why she left. And she seems like such a different person. Like, this hardened
Criminal.
anti-coop is such a different person from this kind of ethereal Tessa that we knew in the 80s. I think there's still a lot of questions. I think she's doling out the information she's willing to give him at this point, but she doesn't know Elliot. And I have to assume, as tough as she's acting, that there is some shame about what has happened.
I would hope.
So perhaps she's not quite comfortable giving him all of the information. There's more to tell. I don't think she's lying to him, but she's clearly not giving him all of the information.
Yeah.
The other key thing here is that Elliot, he was kind of like, well, I thought I was going to stay and connect with my mom. And obviously that's not going to happen. So maybe I'll just help her out by joining in this bootlegging operation because I know that I get arrested.
I'm just shaking my head right now. For a smart guy, why is he what? What are you doing, dude?
Well, so here's my question. Elliot sees the photo of himself with the article titled The Big Fish.
Yeah,
right?
he knows it's inevitable, right?
But we also see that Fern is the one who gives Elliot the pseudonym Tom Buchanan, which is from The Great Gatsby. And so What Elliot didn't know, when he sees in present day the article about the big fish getting caught, Elliot's on the front page of the newspaper, but it calls that person Tom Buchanan. Elliot doesn't know who Tom Buchanan is. He could only assume based on the photo that it's him. Mm-hmm. So Elliot's like, well, I get arrested, so I guess I do need to participate in this bootlegging operation. So let me hop in the mix. It's messy.
Super messy.
And the other thing that's interesting to me about all this time travel that has kind of twisted my head up in knots, and this goes for Elliot, this goes for Kat, this goes for any time one of our time travelers knows for a fact that they return for some event or another for whatever reason. Elliot sometimes would kind of let Alice in on the fact that, no, you were there for this. Elliot knows he was there in New Year's Eve. There's all these other moments. Kat knows that she goes back because she ends up on the film reel. All of these moments they know are going to happen, and they know they have to go back. The question for me that would drive personally me crazy if I were living as a time traveler is, how do I know when I'm supposed to jump in the pond?
Oh, yeah.
Does it not matter because the pond's going to take me where I need to go? Do I need to jump every single day knowing that I go back? Because present day time has nothing to do with past time.
Right.
So that's one of those things that we can't really explain, but gets in my head because I think, well, how do you know? Because we know in this episode, we'll flash back to the present day, and Kat's like, it's been a month and I haven't gone back.
Yeah, right. If you were a time traveler, would you jump in the pond every single day?
Knowing that I go back at some point? Probably. Yeah. I have no patience.
Yeah. Otherwise, like, what if you didn't? You know what I mean? But maybe like fate would take you to the pond anyway if you were meant to go back. Like, I don't know. Because then I feel like then you're trying, if you're jumping every day, then you're trying to insert yourself in the path. Guys, I'm overthinking this now.
I hear you. I hear you. It's time travel is complicated.
It's complicated. It's complicated. Real question. Do you think time travel is possible?
Oh, no.
Put your tinfoil cap on. I mean, it would be cool as hell. Or would it? I don't know.
I don't know. I don't like to think about that because I've seen too many instances where it's used for nefarious purposes, and I don't like to think about bad actors participating in time travel.
Yes. If
it's only Kat going back to find her missing brother, sure. But we live in 2026, and people are not all good.
Yes. Should we move on? Are we done with Elliot?
A little bit, yes.
Okay, well, let's go to the bootleg bust.
Let's do it. Now,
here's where I'm bad at solving mysteries. Like, I just didn't even connect about Cliff being out of town.
Me either. Me either. Until Grayson says, oh, Cliff's lying to y'all. Yeah. And then Fern's like, is he lying because he knows? He knows. We gotta get to the still and stop them.
Didn't see any of that coming.
No, neither did I at all. I was thinking, though, that I was like, really? He's going out of town to get a cop award? Are we doing this?
For being what kind of cop? Like, he's not very good.
Apparently, he's made the most arrests, blah, blah, blah. I don't know, but agreed.
But then, of course, we have Kat, who's like got a no finesse, runs up on the scene.
I know.
Every single damn time.
Every single time. And then, of course, there's an undercover cop in the mix. Whips out his badge. And in comes Cliff. And I love, they're like, Tessa's the boss, not Grayson.
Yeah, this is, okay, you mentioned it earlier. You're like, this is the show. We were not sold on this kind of show in season 1. So did you hate all of this, or what doesn't work for you?
I didn't hate it, but I was taken a little bit out of the moment by myself when they're running away. Really, we have a lot of chaos, and part of that chaos is Cliff coming upon them, and he realizes that Fern and Kat are mixed up in this, and he doesn't want to believe, even though I think he had his suspicions because Fern was involved with Grayson, and he suspected that Grayson was the big fish of it all, which May still be, because as a smart listener pointed out, Grayson controls the newspaper. So who knows? But we do know that Elliot was involved. Anyway, it's confusing. In that moment, as they're running, as the cops are getting them, as Cliff's like, get away, I thought, wow, this bootleg operation has come so far. Because at first, arriving at the speakeasy in 1925 was a nice way to set up the place of it all. Kind of like Jasper's van is a nice way to firmly place us in the 70s. Mm-hmm. But now it's not just that we have a speakeasy. We have this entire bootleg operation. We have Percy and Little Mo and Grayson and Tessa, who are all involved.
Well, Capone.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So it just feels like an entirely different story. Now, again, back to our listener mailbag, another writer-inner pointed out, look, they have to give all of these characters that they're introducing their own storylines. Tessa can't exist in the past in a vacuum. She needs to have been doing something. There has to have been a reason. And there kind of needs to be conflict that leads to her potentially not wanting to return. Or it wouldn't really be satisfying if Elliot shows up in 1925 and she's like, my baby, and they hug and that's it.
Fair.
So I do understand the reason for it all, but I also do feel like when I think about The Way Home, I can't help but go back to season 1 and all those iconic 90s moments and the developing of those friendships. And I just think we've come a long way. The show has become something different than what it was when we first started. And it's not necessarily a bad thing. It just has grown into something different.
Right. Now, my next question is, when Fern jumps in front of Cliff, right? Mm-hmm. You know, everybody's trying to get away on foot. Like, I'm just rolling my eyes. I'm like, are they running to the pond? Where are they going? Where are they going to hide in Port Haven?
Sure.
First of all, like, where are they going to get away to? But Fern jumps in and she like makes her plea or whatever. And Cliff lets them go. Now, Cliff's doing this for Fern, right?
Yes. Yes.
I kind of liked it.
Sure.
And this is, again, like not, we talked about relationships we're interested in. We had a writer in her who was like, I'm only invested in Max and Alice. And I was like, that's the relationship we're interested in. But are we not interested in Fern and Cliff too? Because I'm kind of, where does that lead?
I'm very intrigued by them. Absolutely.
There
was a comment on YouTube that was like, why do these women all keep their last name? Fern should take her husband's last name. And I replied back, that assumes that Fern gets married. We don't have any proof of that. Fern has a child, but we have no proof that Fern gets married to anybody.
Yeah.
The other interesting thing that happens in this moment, but what does that mean moment for me, is as they're running away, Elliot doesn't want to leave Tessa behind. Mm-hmm. And Kat is like, yo, she left you behind. And Tessa comes in and says, no, she didn't.
Yes. I picked that up too. I was like, why is Tessa referring to herself as she, or is she referring to somebody else?
Oh, that's interesting. That's interesting. I didn't take it as her referring it to someone else. I just thought Kat was talking about her in the third person. So Tessa runs up. I don't know, but what does that mean that Tessa didn't leave him behind? What does that mean?
I don't know, but is that fair for Kat to be like, yo, she left you, so you can leave her too?
It's a little unfair, but Kat has proven that her allegiance is to Elliot. And I appreciate that.
I do too. I mean, there's no love lost between Kat and Tessa.
No. And I can appreciate that Kat is riding hard for her man and is like, you broke his heart. So you're going to have to come a long way in order for me to forgive that.
Yeah. So do you think it's interesting that Tessa's like, I'm not interested in coming to present day? Okay.
So that kind of brings us to our next, like, the goodbye that isn't.
Yes.
Elliot kind of assumes, like, you're going to come back with me. Like, we're going to be a family.
How does that explain to everybody? How does that explain?
Great question.
Here's my mom. She's been missing for the last 40 plus years, and now she's back in Port Haven.
Great question. The other thing is, I can kind of understand Tessa's point of view. She's lived here for 40 years. And while it's certainly not perfect, it is her life. It is her life.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know, like, what would Elliot truly hope for? Like, Tessa comes back to present day 2026, right? Or we'll just call it present day. She's not going to just like assimilate back into this like mother role. She's not going to become Dell, right? What is he expecting here?
Well,
just
do you think
time with her?
Yeah. Do you think Elliot kind of has the equivalent of children hoping their parents will get back together, their divorced parents will get back together, this idyllic, if I want it badly enough, it will be true, and not thinking through the reality of it? Just, this would make my life better and happier, and this is the dream for what I want for my life, and therefore, why wouldn't she want that? Forget all the other obstacles.
Yeah, I mean, that could definitely be his take.
We could be a family. Why wouldn't you want that?
Yeah. Yeah. I'm trying to take it from like Tessa's side too. Like, yeah, there's no way. Like this is where my life is. This is what I'm doing. Why would I go back? Even
well, and from Tessa's point of view too, there are going to be people. First of all, Vic still exists in 2026.
Yes.
Dell exists in 2026. And these people aren't going to look kindly on Tessa's actions. So I can understand her being a little bit hesitant to go back to that.
I mean, I think Tessa's only motivation to go back is if she's trying to evade the law in 2025.
Great. Yep. Great. Mm-hmm.
Not in 2025, in 1925.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And a little bit of Elliot. But again,
I mean, not enough, though. She has known that Elliot has existed for many years. It has not ever been enough to try to go back.
Correct. And while there is some softening, largely in the time after time moment where she talks about how she used to sing that, there doesn't seem to be a lot of yearning for a relationship with her son on her part.
Right.
And I think there's more to the story there, but she and Elliot are not in the same place. But this ends with Elliot saying, meet me here, December 21st. We go to the Lingermore party together. Like,
which is weird.
He's grasping to what he has, right? He knows he's there for that. So let's make a plan.
Yes, but this is what I don't understand. Like he knows he gets arrested at that party. But he's telling his mom, like, oh, meet me here at this party just so, like, we can see each other again.
Well, perhaps that, and perhaps if he's not there, what has happened will always happen. But perhaps he feels like he's going to take the fall for her. Because Elliot's not the big fish. Tessa is.
Yeah.
So he wants to be the savior and take the fall for her.
My brain's just working right now.
I have a couple other thoughts on Elliot and Tessa. He does bring up the clock in the wall, much like he brings up the letter in the ring. And Tessa has no idea what he's talking about.
Yes.
Again, what does that mean? The other thing is, what's interesting is Tessa was going to leave Port Haven with the circus.
Yes, and?
So how is she going to be running this bootlegging operation?
Oh, yeah, I don't know. Well, she does leave. Doesn't she leave and comes? Yeah, she does leave with the circus and then comes back and she says, oh, the Augie boys have told me that you've been working for them and you've done a good job.
Right. You've earned their trust, so to speak. Yeah. But so how is I guess she's running it from afar.
With telephones?
Maybe she's communicating with Capone on the circus circuit.
Oh my God. Come on.
Let's take a quick break and we're going to come right back to continue this discussion of episode 8. All right, it's time for The Key is the Key.
Did you laugh when like Kat's like, oh.
I did.
Okay, this is what, in this scene, like I did like how like rapid it was happening, like rapid revelation.
Yeah.
Though it just reminded me that this entire season there's been these big like Scooby-Doo reveal moments that I don't love. But I think it's because like they need to progress the story along, but it just makes me roll my eyes a little bit.
You feel like it was too quick?
I just hate when it's like, and then, and this, and that's what it all means. You know what I mean?
Right.
Anyway.
Especially Kat saying, Fern said she was just the messenger.
Yeah, it's like, do people really have like those,
realization.
Yes, exactly.
Thunderclap like.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't know. Not often, not as often as they do in the show, but I'm not also solving mysteries constantly. But
just every week when we have a mystery to solve on.
Which I never do. So I thought it was interesting. I knew it was some sort of key, like the words and the letters were, but I kind of assumed that it was maybe in Cliff's letter, but it's in Fern's columns and these T.S. Eliot quotes that she was using, which was just a clever tie-in, I think.
Yep.
The code that they decode, New Year's Eve job botched.
You know, I'm such a dummy. Like, I kept like pausing it. Like, I was going to figure it out before like the big reveal. And then when it got to like NYE, I was like, New Year's Eve! New Year's Eve! Such a dummy.
The tunnel's destroyed. 5 souls in, 4 out. Tessa gone.
Okay, but this drove me nuts here because Kazan had to explain to Elliot the song. I'm like,
he was just singing it with Nick.
2 episodes ago, he was just singing it. Yes,
I really needed a Bravo editor to cut in with the scene of Nick and Elliot. 5 went in and 4 came out. Now, Tessa gone obviously has a double meaning here because it could mean she's the 5th soul.
Yes.
Or it could mean she bounced.
Yeah, I think they want us to believe that she was the one that was killed in the Lingamore explosion. I think it's she's just gone.
Yeah. I take care of me, looking out for number 1.
Yeah, exactly.
I think Elliot believes that she's the 5th soul, and this is his did I do that moment where he realizes, oh no, I told her to come there, and perhaps this is going to be a big problem.
Yes, but now it's going to be a bigger problem because now he's going to try to go back and like fix it so she doesn't get killed. Do you see what I mean? Like they keep tinkering. But what
I do.
What will happen is always going to happen, right? So
indeed. Well, let's talk about Jacob and Abby.
Look, I don't hate this storyline as much as you do.
It was better for me.
Here is the thing. I think Jacob and Abby are so beautiful to look at.
Abby, that actress is stunning.
I agree.
Every time she speaks, I just find myself going, say more.
You're so funny.
You're like, I think she's very pretty. And
I do wish we had a whole another season for this relationship to develop. And it's not like a wham bam situation, you know? These two now believe that they're in love with each other. Great. They've had this like torrid affair happening, you know, up in the hayloft.
Yeah.
You know, where is Lewis?
Don't know. Off the payroll.
Is he not at Lingermore? Doesn't he live there?
Because he's about to launch a sparkling wine. I think he's just existing off screen.
I thought it was really funny how Abby goes to dinner and she's just stepping into like saying the wrong thing every single time. I was like, she's trying, you know, you just have those moments, right?
Absolutely.
And I don't think Del's not a terrible person. Like she realizes what's happening. She's not like, oh, Abby's awful, you know, because she's saying these things. I just thought it was so funny. I was like, oh, Abby, just,
you know, she tries to compliment Del. She's trying to smooth the path, and every single thing she says is a dig at Del's quiet, simple kind. I don't know how you have the time to that is like, yeah. Yeah. And then Del kind of was like, well, I wouldn't expect a city like mouse like you to understand. And Sam tries to kind of like.
Yeah, but I don't sense like real beef between these two. Del doesn't operate like that.
No, and I think Del just wants Jacob to be happy, but she kind of does need to give it back a little bit.
Of course. Now, what are your thoughts on Jacob realizing that, like, you know, Abby's from Toronto. She may not want to stay in Port Haven.
I thought it was a little short-sighted for Jacob to be shocked by that announcement.
I thought so too.
You're visiting Port Haven to help your dad out. So Jacob made the leap that now you've moved here full time. Why have we not had this discussion? How long are you in town? What are your plans? Are you going to continue working for Goodwin's Good Wine? When are you going back? What are we talking about? You are an adult. Why have you not had this conversation?
I know, because I imagine these two just canoodling up in the hayloft with nothing but that time to talk about themselves and their lives and whatever. Like, how did we miss this big piece of the puzzle?
My favorite line of the episode when Jacob comes to Abby with an apology about how we can make it work, essentially. He says, we can make long distance work. He goes, there are telephones now. Did you hear him say
that? I know. It's funny. Like, they have to always give Jacob like these like fish out of water lines.
Yes. I just thought it was funny. There are telephones now, which is kind of like you could see somebody saying like telephones exist. It's,
it sounds like sarcasm.
Yes. It just made me laugh.
Yeah.
And then this kind of ends with Abby saying, well, it looks like I'm going to need to tell my dad about you. Now, I have a question. Does Jacob ever need to tell Abby about the pond, especially if Casey is in fact their child and if he's going to keep the secret of the pond, does he have to not let on the fact that he met their child in the past? Ooh. Or will Jacob's memories of Casey be similar to Kat's memories of Alice?
Ooh, good question.
Hey, thanks.
Good questions. I do think it is necessary for Jacob to keep the secret of the pond from Abby, because Jacob has no business going back in the pond. He doesn't need to, right?
Correct.
He doesn't need to time travel. Can you imagine that conversation? Oh, let me tell you. I've met our child.
I spent 20 years growing up in the past. Not just off the grid. I mean, it sounds crazy, of course.
It sounds nuts. I'm like, this could be a total season 5. Like, come on now, of how they would navigate this. I don't know. And I love the idea that, like, Jacob's memories of Casey would be similar to Kat's of Alice. I don't know, though, because, Jacob's a full adult. Not that
that's true.
Young Kat wasn't almost adult as well.
Well,
I don't know.
Jacob is a full adult who also knows that Casey is a time traveler, whereas young Kat never knew that of Alice. So wasn't operating with, I need to remember this for my future daughter.
No, seriously. And I just had like a thought about like a friend that I was friends with in 6th grade. I'm like, what if that was a time traveler? I wouldn't have known any difference. And if that person came back into my life, I would be like, I don't remember you.
The details are murky. Sure.
Yeah.
Well, shall we talk about our girl, Alice?
Yes.
Well, first, there's a party at the point for the 45th anniversary, and they play the reel, and Kat and Alice have both been cut out of it.
It's that Scooby-Doo moment.
Exactly.
Right. Yeah.
Evelyn must have cut it out. It's so interesting because sometimes they jump to conclusions that are not the first conclusion I jump to. Or I don't have a conclusion, but they immediately have cracked the case.
What do you think? What was your conclusion to why they weren't?
I didn't really have one. I mean, somebody must have cut it out, but I thought maybe one of them went back to the past and did it.
Got it. Yeah.
I don't really know. So Alice is like, well, I got to go figure out how this happens. Got to jump back in the pond again. Got to observe from afar, spy on my friends. Del's pregnant. Tessa's pregnant. And Evie's sad.
Yeah. I mean, it was obvious. It was nicely played by the actress who plays Evie in this moment here, where she looks like disassociating, sitting at that table.
Yeah.
Like, she's just lonely, it seems.
Yeah. And they're like toasting to their kids being best friends growing up. And Evie's like, yeah, I'm all toasted out. I got to bounce.
Yeah. What is she upset about, though, here? Because, like,
well, I think it's like Del and Colton and Vic and Tessa are kind of living parallel lives, and Evie she's not in baby phase anymore.
So I mean, how old is Lewis at this point? Like, we don't see Lewis, obviously.
5 or 6.
Okay.
So 7?
It's not that far removed.
No, but you're not in the baby stage. You're not raising babies together. Like, Lewis isn't going to come over and hang out with the babies on their blankets together outside.
Yeah.
So while I think, and I'm sure she feels a little bit left out because they're both in relationships and she's not. And Colton is, as you would expect, investing his time in his family and less in his friendships. And so I think she just feels left out.
Yeah.
And I think it paints the picture of her being lonely and dying alone, we think.
That is so sad. I'm going to need an adult Alice visiting an adult
And
Evie.
Max.
Yeah, something like that. I can't just have Evie out here dying a lonely life. You know? Let me ask you, what do you think? Do you think Evie was the one that edited the film reel and then does know about Alice's time travels?
So I think probably because Alice and Kat stated it as fact in that moment. I think probably, but I think Alice is going to have to do another jump. We're going to have to see it happen, or at least the suggestion that it happens, or at least because at this point in time, Evie doesn't have that. Alice asked her, and Evie doesn't have it. She wanted it, and it disappeared. We don't know who finds it.
You're right.
And of course, Evie is continuing to ask questions. Why haven't you aged? Why don't you have a phone number? This is weird. And then she's drunk and passes out.
Who are you, Alice in Wonderland? Yeah.
Yes. So
I love Evie. I love the character Evie.
Right. Is there somebody else who would have had access to that? Look, Jasper's still a little bit of a wild card. Is it possible he could have seen the way Alice reacted to that footage and edited it?
It was Max. No, I don't know.
I don't know either.
I don't know. When Evie kind of passes out and Alice tells her that she'll be there when she needs her, I was like, this is a setup, right? This is a setup for the future.
Seems like it.
When Evelyn is
It seems like it for
old.
sure.
I don't know. God, I just hope so. I hope so.
This kind of unlocks something in Alice, and now she's all of a sudden able to write a song, which she sends to Max. She and Max
Not to the Fritter King. She didn't send it to him.
She and Max don't seem to have communicated since their blow up. The other thing is, Alice tells Del, I saw you and you're pregnant with Kat. And I feel like this scene with Alice and Del answers some of the questions that people had. Del is the biological mother of both Kat and Jacob.
Yes.
She talks about Kat being their miracle and Jacob being their surprise. And that feels like a small little loop we're closing there. Like Alice is finally able, I finally unlocked the thing that's going to help me write songs. I figured out who I am. Like this has been an issue all season long, a little bit.
A necessary one, though?
Well, the only reason I think it's necessary is I think it may point to Alice's future plans.
Okay.
Whatever those may be. Finally, Sam knows about the pond. I mean, duh. You know, this episode is a bunch of tiny reveals, but just not quite enough. I think it's nice, Del saying, all I want, my children are both happy. That's all I want in life. I wish Colton knew. And Sam says, what if you tell him?
Okay. She can't. He is dead.
But she could go back
Into the past.
Yes, that's his point.
Okay. All right. That makes sense. Sort of.
And did you sit up and get much closer to the mic in that moment?
I did. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. I'm just envisioning you getting real activated.
I always. How do you think Del's going to take this?
I don't know. Hopefully well. Hopefully this is not another wedge in their relationship. But of course, this is a cliffhanger at the end of the episode. How does Sam know? What's his connection? Does he simply know? Has he participated in time travel? What is going on?
Part of me hopes that Del goes, whew, good. I don't have to keep that secret from you. You know what I mean?
Sure, that's great.
It's a relief. But then on the other hand, it could easily go the other way and be like, you've known all along and you've kept these secrets. And how can this relationship be built on trust? Blah, 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 blah. Whatever.
But in all fairness, she's kept the same secrets.
But totally. So I hope there's okay, and now let's figure out how Sam is connected to this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But if Sam okay, let me, hold on.
Work it out.
Is Sam a time traveler not associated with the Landrys?
Potentially.
Because
via another magical geographical location.
Something, because we don't want Sam to technically be a Landry, do we?
No. Of course, I don't think Sam's a Landry. I really hope Sam's
Then how is he time traveling via the pond? Or is he time traveling via the pond?
If he is with somebody else.
Okay.
Yes.
Casey?
Perhaps.
Then Casey told Sam all this stuff?
Well, or perhaps the comparison has been made is that Sam is Casey's Elliot. And so Elliot knew about time travel. Elliot was deeply involved with time travel, but until very recently didn't time travel himself.
I just need to know how Sam is associated with the coins and the circus poster.
Perhaps. Yes, me too.
This is the hill I'm going to die on, guys.
You and the poster, me and the horse.
Yep.
Although I think we're done with the horse, guys. All right. That's a wrap on this discussion of The Way Home, Season 4, Episode 8, Tainted Love. If you love this podcast, we do love your 5-star ratings and reviews. You can drop them in the Apple Podcast app. We'll be back later this week with your listener mailbag submissions. Send them our way. We'll see you next time. Goodbye.
Bye.
All right, friends, before we go, just a quick heads up. You're about to hear some ads. These little gems help us keep the show running and the Hallmark love flowing. So do with that info what you will. Grab a snack, hit the skip button, or maybe, just maybe, listen in and discover your new favorite product. Bye.